Hello fellow leggers, you are joining us once again to catch a touring production. We are at the beautiful Waterside Theatre in Aylesbury.
And this isn't just any touring production because it's a stage adaptation of probably one of the most culty cult films ever made, and that is Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage.
Ooh, so stick around to hear our thoughts and find out how many stars.
And whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Yes, this is huge, Colt. Like, we've all been there. Every disco, every wedding, wherever there's a disco, right? This song comes on.
Yeah.
And there's drunken, the people who are usually on the dance floor. You look out for them. You know who they're going to be.
There are YouTube,
and they do the move.
There are YouTube
right?
compilation videos of that going spectacularly wrong most of the time.
Oh,
and it's interesting that you should make that connection.
Fits. That is it.
Dirty Dancing, and you immediately think about the lift.
The moment.
And so do they, because it's on every poster. It's like all over the place, and I mean it's smart marketing really, because you think, I mean, I hope we're going to have the time of our lives today.
And it is a great song,
It is a great song, but let's talk about that film for a second. As mentioned, it is a cult classic from 1987, starring the late great Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. Fun fact, do you know who Jennifer Grey's father is?
Mr. Grey.
Yes. Joel Grey, in fact,
Right.
the MC from Cabaret, the
No
original
way.
MC. Yes, and he was originally the wizard in Wicked.
No way.
Yes,
well, there you are.
that's
I
her
didn't know that. That's a
father.
good
In
fun
real life,
fact.
that's a leg of fact,
That's
isn't
a
it?
leg of
Right
fact.
there for you. Anyway, it took over $214 million at the box office on a $6 million budget.
I mean, it
so
was
talk about a
huge.
return. I mean, I wish I was a
Yeah.
producer on that blooming film.
The soundtrack was massive as well.
It was. They're the stage adaptation, originally premiered in Australia in 2004, where it was a commercial, if not a critical success.
Okay.
But in 2006, it came over to London's West End at the Aldwych Theatre and became the highest ticket pre-sale in theatre history up until that point, taking
Wow.
£6 million worth of advances.
Shows it's popular.
Yeah, it ran for 5 years and then went out on a UK tour. It came back to London's West End at the Piccadilly for almost another year, and then it went back out on tour where it's been ever since.
Okay,
Now,
but we've never seen it.
Well, not the stage
We've
adaptation.
seen the film, but we've never seen this stage adaptation.
I've seen the film once, and that was more than enough for me. That was
Okay.
one time too many, I'd go so far to say.
Oh,
but
really?
It does have an iconic soundtrack featuring songs like Be My Baby,
Yeah.
Big Girls Don't Cry,
Yeah.
She's Like the Wind, that beautiful Patrick Swayze sang that song. It's an absolute classic. And, of course, Time of My Life, the Bill Medley and Jennifer Warner's classic. Absolute classic.
Okay.
2 hours and 25 minutes including interval. We're promised, I like the fact it's not billed as a musical, this one.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm looking forward
It's
to this.
on stage.
Sometimes when they say a musical, it's set up for a fool, really, unless
yeah.
you really interweave it well. But they're just putting it on stage.
They're putting it on stage, and
Putting it on stage.
I'm sure,
Which is better, right?
I hope we are, like I say, going to have the time of our lives and not just wish that we were flowing off like the wind.
So it has got an interval. Stick around to hear our 30-second interval breakdown thoughts.
And stay till the end, and we'll tell you how many stars and what we think of the show.
We've come to the interval, which means it is time for the break-a-leggers.
30-second interval breakdown.
Go! What do you think so far?
Okay, I'll go first. I'm really enjoying it.
Really?
I never thought that I would, and I'm enjoying it 100% more than I thought I was going to. The dancing is thrilling, and I think seeing it live on stage really adds an extra element. What about you?
I'm enjoying it as well. I'm actually really liking the story, the narrative. I'm almost getting it this time. Before I just thought it was about someone learning to dance, but it's got layers, man. And yeah, the dancing is really carrying it. And songs you know and love. Show reference.
Did anybody get that? So
Get the
yeah,
show
we've been
reference?
practicing. That took a whole 5 minutes of rehearsal time, guys. I hope you appreciated it. Anyway, we've come to the end of Dirty Dancing out on a UK tour.
Whoop, whoop.
And nobody puts Baby in a corner, and nobody puts this bloody show in a corner because it's a complete surprise to me. What about you?
A surprise to you. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I've heard
that's what
stuff.
I mean. I didn't expect to,
It's
but
been
who
out
knew?
for a while, and people have seen it in town. And I heard rumours from people that I kind of trust that it was a bit meh. So I went in expecting it to be a bit meh,
And
but
that's
it was
the-
actually great.
That's the thing, isn't it? People can shape your opinion, and you go in with a certain expectation, whether that be high or whether it be low. And you're absolutely right. I mean, as a couple of 20-something men, this isn't the sort of show I would think would be for us.
I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy a ticket to this.
Well, that's what you say that. Yes,
It wouldn't be the
your
sort of
first
show that I would
choice.
go, oh, I must go and see that.
Correct. But what a wonderful, wonderful surprise.
I'm
And
glad I saw it.
we've been already, I know we try to keep all of our conversations on camera, but we couldn't help just picking it apart for a show that the film I've always considered to be completely superficial. But you and our conversation has uncovered new depths.
Man, I think this show is deep.
Not
There's a
just
lot of
emerging from a
messages.
lake, are the depths.
There's a lot of messages in this. Do you know, just
There's
about
layers.
naivety of this baby character being confronted, growing up, and reaching an age of maturity and sexually growing. It makes sense. She transforms from a girl to a woman, and almost like the idea that she can't get these sexualized movements until she's experienced that sex and that love and that desire.
And that's when the
And then it
dance
grows
falls
up.
into place.
And then you've got all this stuff as well with her relationship between her dad and the dad and daughters usually have a really strong bond, and the dad having to let her go. Man, he's deep.
Yeah.
I was quite emotional.
I mean, you
come to
already
the
all
end.
know the story, and I feel like everyone else got it before
know
me.
the
Like, I
story.
think those people that really love it perhaps sort of get it.
You didn't know what was going to happen.
No, I did. But what I'm saying is, I didn't. When I watched it before, I didn't feel like I got it.
Do you
But
know?
now
I'm
I
not
get
saying,
it.
Yeah. There were things that I got the messages before. I just thought it was about a girl who couldn't dance, learning to dance, then she gets lifted in the end.
And everybody
whoop,
wants
whoop,
to
and
be
everyone's
on
happy.
Patrick Swayze. That's the sort of point, wasn't it?
But it's that age-old story of someone who can't do something, someone that then can do something. Strictly Ballroom is another
Yeah.
one in dance. You got all the singing ones about learning to sing.
All those singing
What are
ones.
those? There's about 6 of them.
Oh right. Any examples?
What are those films?
Those films, great. Any examples
You're
of
not
that?
helping
Let
me at
us
all. Do you
know.
know the ones
I don't
I
know what you're
mean?
talking about.
The singing. What are the singing films? And there's loads of them. And there's that kind of age-old storyline, that plot line we've seen many times
Yes.
before. But this is, I guess, this is one of the original ones because
And
it's.
I think what sets it apart for me, when you think movie to stage adaptation, why? A lot of the time you think, what can they do with that? But this is all about the thrill of the dance, guys. And being in a space, I mean, watching a film for me is such a passive experience. I don't really bother because you can't have the intimacy that you get
You're
from a
very
live
filmist.
production.
I
say
love
that.
films.
I mean,
This
I
is-
love
this
the
is a
films
Lego
I
Simon
love.
issue.
I love. But
I
do
have no issue with films.
But
I
I
think
do
films
find
are great.
I do
This
find
is
the
a different medium.
Yeah, but I find the
altogether.
medium sort of detached. I feel very detached from a film, and maybe that was the problem for me with Dirty Dancing, the movie. And I don't experience that here because I can feel the whoosh of a dress and the breeze coming past my face, and I can sort of feel the tension. And when she does the lift, my heart is in my mouth because I feel like there's real.
Can we have a
peril.
moment just to
You know,
talk
there's
about the
actual
lift?
threat.
Like, the lift isn't a lift. It goes on for what felt like
does.
5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a
they
lift
did
and a
a
hold.
full tour, like their whole
Core
term.
strength there, right?
Yeah, I was like, yes, that is the lift. They are owning that moment.
And I think this is about the time we go on to some of the cast members because they're the ones that are performing this.
Okay, so the piece, we like the piece.
And we like the piece. I would have liked a death.
You wouldn't what?
I would have liked a death.
You would have liked a death.
Yeah. Peggy Johnson was played magnificently by Simone Cavell.
She was danced
Oh
magnificently.
my God.
Her legs, I thought they were going to come off.
Yeah, her legs don't look like they're really attached to her. Do you know those dolls?
It's not this, it's like,
Yeah.
like this.
Do you know those dolls you get, those wooden ones, where you pull the string and the legs go whoop like that? She was like one of those.
Her legs
She
are
was
all over the
incredible.
place. She's got some moves.
She does. She was absolutely amazing. I loved her. I just thought she was great all over. Also mention Lyndon Edwards, but as the role of the father, Dr. Jake Houseman.
Yep, he was good. He was okay. What did you think of him?
I thought he was good.
Okay.
I'll mention Alex Wheeler as Billy Kostecki. Now, I'd like to say he's the one
Which
that actually
one was
gets
that?
to sing.
Oh, was he the one who sang the songs and in the still of the night and at the end he was singing The Time of My Life?
Now, can we just mention the music a second?
Well, hang on. Well, let's talk about him. He had a great voice and he was a great actor. I did like him a lot, actually.
Great.
Now let's talk about the music for more than a second.
We'll go back to the cast in a second, but
A
I've
little
never
interlude
realised
to
how
music.
confusing the music is before, because it's set in 1963. The majority of the music that they set the dances to is of that period, but then you've got two major 80s ballads, like songs, a power ballad and that
one?
going to yes, and it just doesn't go with the rest of the music.
But it fits the mood. I guess it doesn't go with the
but what's
1960s, but the
period?
80s.
We just forget about the period. We're like, it's up there. And I think
I liked it.
For me, that was amplified by this, because it wasn't used in a montage moment, because you can't have one. You're sort of there in it. And I just thought it made the music a bit weird for me. Bit weird, some of the choices, but that's not their fault.
Okay, well, while we're on the music,
digress.
there was also the live band. I thought the band were great.
Yes.
The brass instruments great. The
Yes.
bass great. Pianist,
Yes.
really nice. When they come out at the end after the bows as well, they really owned that. I love that moment.
Yeah. So let's talk about Kira Malou as Frances Baby Houseman. She understudied this part and has now moved into sort of the A cast, which is fantastic for her.
Yeah, she was great. She suited it. She was
Yeah.
small. She was slight. I bought into the fact at the start that she was just a naive little girl, like still a student, high school.
Yeah.
And then come the end, she was a woman.
She developed, she really did.
Yes.
And Michael O'Reilly as Johnny Castle.
Can we have a moment just to respect the temple that is Michael?
He
Was it
treats
Michael
his
O'Reilly?
body as like a temple, and it's one that we now both worship at.
It
I
was
think
a-
is fair to say.
You get to see a whole load of that body.
What a
and
physique that
more
man has
shading
got.
and like muscles I didn't even realise could be found in a body were defined in
Making
his
his
body.
professional debut as Johnny Castle in the iconic show Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage. And I was going to say I hope we see more of him, but I don't know if we
saw
could,
plenty.
because we've seen quite a lot already. He's a dancer. He's definitely a dancer.
And he looks great.
And he looks the
sharp.
part, yes. Acting
Yes.
ability, little bit Arnold Schwarzenegger does Dirty Dancing.
And he did look Arnold Schwarzenegger at one stage.
Very
which is-
Terminator-esque, sort of those monosyllabic delivery, but
He can almost do
you
no
can
wrong.
get away with it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
the
not
sort
an
of part.
actor's
No
role.
one cares.
It's not an actor's role.
He looks great and he dances great.
Yes.
And he holds his own. So
He does-
that's all that
I'm
matters.
sure he does, but if he needs any help, I mean,
we'll step in.
there's too much, man. You're too much. This is abuse.
What do you mean?
Shut up.
Okay, anybody else?
No. Was there anyone else on stage?
The rest of the cast were good.
I
Some
want to mention the
fantastic ensemble.
creatives.
Fantastic ensemble dancers. They
Great.
do, in terms of what's asked of them, they've got these lifts going all over the place. The girls, again, with legs here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
They're clinging, and the guys have got to be so strong in their core to get them up. So, great technical dancers.
Yeah.
Great technical performances.
They really snatch some moments in that dance choreography.
Snatch the moments.
Can we also mention set design? I thought the set was outstanding, actually, for a touring
really good
production.
set.
What a wonderful set. Roberto Camotti did a great job. Gillian Bruce is the person that we need to thank for the choreography.
Great
well
choreography.
done. And a beautiful thing about this show,
Yes,
Cold,
beautiful thing.
is it doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows it can't have several locations. It can't just travel. We can't all go out to a lake.
And
But-
having this log moment.
Yeah,
But they're
there's
really
some
creative with it.
wonderfully creative touches. Set designing, lighting designo by designing. Oh, I can't even speak. Designo by Valerio Tiberi. One thing we always forget about is the director, the
We always
person pulling
forget
it.
the
Not
director.
always, but a lot of the time.
Often, yes.
Federico Belloni. I mean, it takes a lot to put this up on stage when you are dealing with a beloved commodity, something that is really sort of cherished by a lot of people, and to have the balls to pull it together, I think, is admirable.
Yeah, and it moved very well, really. It was quite slick.
Yeah,
So,
it was
moved
quite
well.
slick.
Very quite slick.
Very quite slick.
Very quite
You're
slick.
so eloquent. I'm glad we're in this business.
Okay, well,
I
you're
really
probably
are.
wondering how many stars we are going to give Dirty Dancing.
Well, for Dirty Dancing, the classic story on stage, we are going to give
got 4 stars for this
I've
piece.
had a bloody good night out, guys.
I really enjoyed it.
If you can let yourself go, come in. I mean, if you love the film and cherish the film, I still
You're
think
gonna have a great
you get a different
time.
level with this
Yeah.
production. And there's something for. It's safe enough to take your mum. Perfect Mother's Day treat.
I really
I'm going
enjoyed
to say
it.
that. Perfect Mother's Day treat.
I think what I
Even
loved
if you're a
is-
20-something-year-old man, you might have a good time too.
If they turned this into a musical, I don't think I would have liked it. I like the fact that it was live on stage, so it was all about the plot and the story and the action
And
with
the
great
dance.
music and the dance as well.
Yeah, they don't sing those, they perform all the numbers. Don't go in there expecting it to be like
Yeah.
that typical musical theatre structure, because it isn't.
And do you know what? The
Which
house
is
was
good.
quite quiet this
It's a
evening.
Monday evening,
Which
though.
really then meant that the story had to shine through, and it did. And by the end, the audience were really awake. So I imagine come the weekend, when you get an audience that's up for it, all of those iconic moments will shine,
Yeah,
and the
but-
atmosphere will be
Electric.
sparkling.
Electric. But anyway, that's just what we think. It's just what I think.
And just what I think.
What do you think? Have you ever caught this? It's been around for a while. We'd love to hear from you. We read all of your comments and thank you
Yes.
so much. If you love us, hit subscribe. Well, not even if you love us, to be fair. If you tolerate
If you
us.
want to put up with
If you want to
us.
see us a bit more, then please hit subscribe. We've just hit 2,000 subscribers.
Thank you very
So
much.
thank you. It's an amazing, amazing thing, and we love you all, our fellow leggers. And we are the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.